We're very, very pleased to have our very special guest, Veronica Cotter from Hahnemühle, USA, who's going to tell us all about the wonderful papers that Hahnemühle has. At Digital Silver Imaging, we love Hahnemühle and we love their papers, and so do our customers, just for their fine quality and the broad range of papers that they have available. When we do these webinars, I always like to tell a fun fact about our panelist, and Veronica's kind of alluded to that already, but
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. There is a lot of history between Eric and Veronica and I. In fact, we all kind of started in the photo industry a long time ago at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But my little fun fact about Veronica is that she comes from a photo industry family. Her uncle, right? Your uncle?
Yep.
Her uncle was the original importer of Oriental black and white photo paper, and Veronica was first the East Coast rep and then the West Coast rep?
So East Coast rep, and then when I moved to California from New York City, it became more marketing and, well, actually sales across the US because I was the only person at the time.
Mm-hmm. And then Veronica went on to work at Ilford, and where she worked with Eric, and now she's with Hahnemühle. So I also want to introduce Kayla Bertucci, who is our customer care specialist at Digital Silver Imaging. Kayla is the person at Digital Silver Imaging that's got her stuff together. You might talk to Eric and I, and we might be a little all over the place because we're just a little, but Kayla is the one that's got her facts down. So we're really happy that Kayla could join us today and take time out of her busy schedule helping our customers. And today the presentation is going to be run by Digital Silver Imaging's founder, Eric Luden, who most of you have probably seen in another webinar or might know. So with that, why don't we take it away? We're going to start with Veronica, who is going to give us a little rundown on Hahnemühle papers and also introduce us to some new papers that Hahnemühle just introduced. So thank you, Veronica.
Thanks, guys. And I will say that Eric and Andrea are two of my dearest friends, because if I say oldest friends, it just adds that connotation.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I used to say oldest, now I say dearest.
Appreciate that distinction.
Yeah. Yes, me especially. Well, and thanks for inviting me to join you guys. We do have a lot of history together. And speaking of history, Hahnemühle has a 437-year history of paper making, continuous paper making. And I encourage you at some point to go to our website, because there's a great timeline and some really interesting facts about the company, our commitment to the environment. You know, the mill sits adjacent to an old growth forest. It's next to a stream. And we use that water to make paper. And when we return the water, it's in drinking water quality. So there are a lot of fascinating details on the website. The other thing that I find extremely interesting is, for a 437-year-old paper mill, it's totally off the grid. So we derive our power from wind, solar, and water. 437 years, totally off the grid. So Andrea and Eric alluded to our fine art paper range and also the newest papers, which are the natural line. And we introduced those in 2019, late 2019. At the time, bamboo was an existing paper, but when we introduced the agave and hemp, it just made sense to shift bamboo over into the natural line. They're made from sustainably sourced fibers, doesn't take a lot of water. They have a rapid growth cycle, no pesticides. These are OBA-free papers. The bamboo of the three is the warmest. Agave and hemp are very similar as far as their base tint. And of the three, agave has the most texture. I know that DSI uses both the bamboo and the agave. And when we get into textured papers, I'll make the same comment, that you might think that texture would soften the image, but actually it's the exact opposite. There's something about texture that brings another depth or dimension to an image. And I find when I see an image on textured paper, there's something about it that it just draws your eye in. You want to get closer. You want to really study the details in the image. The natural line papers are all TIPA award-winning papers. And the bamboo is 90% bamboo, 10% cotton. The agave, which is the other paper that DSI features, is 70% agave fibers and 30% cotton. And the cotton that's used in these papers is recycled cotton. So when we make paper, they trim the sides off as it's coming off the coating machine. So they literally take that and repulp it. And that's the cotton that goes into the natural line papers and some others as well. 5% of the proceeds from the sale of the natural line or green papers go to environmental projects, a project to support baby gorillas in Kenya, planting trees in Colombia to help prevent landslides. That one was with Mercy Corps. So I could go on about the natural line papers. I have a preference for warm tone papers. So all three really check that box for warm tone papers. So fine art papers break down, as I mentioned, into 5 categories. The first is the natural line, which we talked about. The next is the matte fine art smooth. And there are 2 papers in that one that DSI features. PhotoRag 308. So anytime you see PhotoRag in the name of any of our papers, it's 100% cotton. PhotoRag 308 is the most popular paper across all brands worldwide. It has a beautiful, kind of a neutral base tint. It reproduces color and black and white beautifully. And with pigment inks, we rate it at 100 years plus. They also feature the Ultra Smooth, the PhotoRag Ultra Smooth, which is a 305 GSM paper. And it really has kind of a velvety feel to it. And the reason I go like this is that a few years ago, we featured an image of Scarlett Johansson at a trade show we were participating in. And her skin was so velvety and smooth, you just kind of wanted to go up and touch her skin. So those are some of the reactions you have when you see a beautifully printed image. Then we get into textured paper, matte fine art textured, and DSI features one of my favorites, which is the museum etching. It is a 350 GSM, so it's got a really good heft to it. It definitely has texture, but it's more refined. You can feel it, but it has just a nice finish to it. It's no OBAs. It's 100% cotton. And once again, it reproduces black and white color and a variety of subjects. And also, I know that DSI features decollaged papers. So museum etching comes as a decollage, and that PhotoRag 308 also comes as a decollage. Then we get into glossy fine art and fine art Baryta satin. It's a warmer base tint paper. And this is one of the papers I recommend, perhaps you guys do as well, for someone that's looking for a silver gelatin look to their print and wants something a little on the warm side. It's 100% alpha cellulose paper, no OBAs, and it has a really beautiful satin pearl kind of surface to it. And then one of my absolute favorites, the PhotoRag Baryta, once again, 100% cotton. It's a 315 GSM. And this probably tops the list for me if you want to replicate a silver gelatin look. But the paper in this range that they feature and it is a really cool paper. It's the PhotoRag Metallic. It is a TIPA award-winning paper. It's a 340 GSM. It's 100% cotton. It's the only fine art metallic paper that's out there. Usually when you say metallic, people are thinking kind of that high gloss Cibachrome look on a polyester base. As I said, this is 100% cotton. It has a beautiful proprietary metallic pigment coating on it. And Kevin will back me up on this one. He and I were extremely skeptical that black and white would look good on this paper. Phenomenal. There was an image, a few images actually, when we first introduced the paper 3 years ago. It was a herd of stampeding horses in black and white. I thought that that horse was going to come right off the page. It just gave it a 3D effect. It really is a beautiful paper. And as I said, reproduces color in black and white beautifully. And you'd be surprised at how many different image types look good on it. I've seen architectural renderings, fashion, landscape, and then of course, cars look amazing. Anything that has metal looks really good on the PhotoRag metallic.
Hey, Veronica,
Yes.
can I just pop in with a question? Because I
Sure.
think, and Kayla as well, if you get questions on anything that Veronica can answer, but one of the ones I always get is, what's the difference between alpha cellulose base and cotton base paper?
Okay, cool. So 100% cotton, it's the cotton lintners. And alpha cellulose is a refined wood pulp. So Hahnemühle uses fibers, so the bamboo, agave, and hemp, the alpha cellulose, which is a refined wood pulp, and then the cotton lintners.
Great.
Those are the three materials that we use in making paper. And then finally, canvas. And DSI offers the Art Canvas Smooth, which I like. As I mentioned, I have a preference for more neutral or warmer toned materials. So this is a poly cotton blend. It's a neutral base tint, no OBAs, 370 GSM. And then they also have the Daguerre, which is a 400 GSM, poly cotton blend, and a brighter white base. And the part of the reason that I appreciate the fact that you've given me the opportunity to talk about papers, even when you're not printing yourself, you have these beautiful options available and you understand what the characteristics are. So when you're talking to DSI and they talk to you about your image in the context of maybe a neutral base tint or warmer or cooler, it makes sense. And the other thing in knowing DSI for so long, they're a Hahnemühle certified studio, you have the ability to make beautiful fine art prints on a wide variety of papers. And that truly is an amazing opportunity. They have grown up printing first in the darkroom, still doing analog printing, but they have an exceptional knowledge of digital printing, from scanning, retouching to output. And it's really a relationship that you have with a company and people like Kayla, Eric, and Andrea. And I encourage you, if you're not working with them, to perhaps consider their print sample program, which it really underscores a really important feature. We have swatch books. If you've ever been in a camera store, you've probably seen the Hahnemühle printed swatch book, and you're looking at a beautiful selection of images on different papers. But what the print sample program allows you to do is to look at your image on 3 different papers. And so you're looking at them under different lighting conditions, different times of day. And even you might be in one mood on one day and a different mood on the next. And all those things influence your decision about which paper works best for that image. And I'll also say that as you look at the 3, this one isn't better than this one, and this one isn't better than these 2. They're different. And you may just have this connection to one image on paper that works for you. So I could go on and on about paper. I mean, the three of us, and Kevin too, we've talked about the importance of printing. I mean, when we get together, those are some of the things we talk about. And actually yesterday, when the 3 of us spoke, one of the things that came up is, well, when would you print on what we refer to as an everyday paper, something that doesn't have the same longevity? And there's definitely a time and a place for that. A few years ago, we had Photoville here in Los Angeles, and I know Photoville was in Brooklyn for a number of years. Those images are going up in a container that are subjected to all types of conditions. Putting it on a fine art paper probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So a photo pearl from Hahnemühle is a beautiful option. Or say that your images are going into a coffee shop or a hair salon, and are some environmental factors that you can't control. Photo pearl might be a terrific option for that. But it all comes down to having that conversation with Kayla or Eric about, okay, what's the project? Where is it going? Is it going into a museum? Is it going to a collector? Or is it going into a container at Photoville? So as I said, and I'll say it again, these are terrific people to work with. So
Thank you, Veronica.
yeah, I'm going to turn it over to you. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going and
Well,
going.
we have a question, actually. Your
Yes.
favorite participant, Daryl, wants to know where he can get a swatch book or a paper sample to check out the new papers.
Well, and I'll make this available to anybody. So we have these little media samplers. And what I like about these, it's all about the paper. There are no images on here. So you can, what people will do is unscrew this and lay all the papers out and begin to look at papers in the context of base tint and weight, et cetera. If you want one, Daryl, I will. Hey, Kevin, will you put my email address in there, please? And just send me your address and I will send you one.
I think Kevin had to scoot for a minute, he said.
Oh, okay. I'll put it in. I'll put it in. Yep.
Yeah, we'll get you Veronica's email. We're also going to have a follow-up. You'll get a follow-up email to this webinar, everybody that's here participating, and we'll put Veronica's email in there as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's see. We have a question. And I think this is from Mark, and he says the 3 papers are ... And I think I think Mark is referring to the natural line. So the 3 papers in the natural line are, Veronica?
Bamboo, agave, and hemp.
And of those 3 papers, we normally stock the bamboo and the agave.
Mm-hmm.
Mark is also wondering if any of them are particularly more stable than others over time.
They're equally stable. Once again, with pigment inks, 100 years plus. And always, that little asterisk at the bottom is how is it stored? How is it displayed? But yes, with pigment inks, they have equal stability.
Great. So I think at this point in time, what we're going to do is we're going to move on from paper, unless anybody has, this is one more chance, and you can always ask more questions at the end of the presentation when we raffle off the print. So we're also recording this presentation. So, if you want to watch a part of it later, we're going to have it up on our YouTube channel, and that'll probably go up, tomorrow afternoon sometime. So at this point in time, we're going to transition, and we want to show you our new online ordering app, new and improved, or improved would be a better way to say it, online ordering app, which has just been updated. So, and Eric is going to give you a little run through of our value print ordering app.
Yep. So thanks, everybody. Veronica, that was great in terms of the overview of papers and everything you talked about. And as she mentioned, Digital Silver Imaging is a certified print lab, which means that we went through some testing and had to, do some work on our side to sort of say that Hahnemühle approves of the quality of work that we output. And it is by far one of our favorite papers. We do use a couple of other papers, but you will see in a minute that Hahnemühle has really been our go-to paper for a long time. And it's not just because of my longevity and great friendship with Kevin and Veronica and and other people at Hahnemühle. It really is that, 438 years of making paper, they know how to do this. They really make great products. So we're very happy with what they do. So we're going to continue talking about papers a little bit, but what I'm going to do is kind of show you, if you haven't used our direct to print or value print service, it's a way where we are still using same equipment, same papers, same technicians, same quality, but you're going to be uploading something direct to us that you have done your own editing on. We aren't proofing the prints. So it's saving Kayla time, it's saving Christopher and other people in the back time without having to do all that. So you want to be extra sure that before you upload that you've gone through your file, look at it 100% in Photoshop, make sure you're not seeing banding or, digital artifacting or, God forbid, sensor dust from all of our digital cameras. But you're checking all that ahead of time, because if it's in there and we print it, it is, because we're offering such a value price, we're not spending time sort of, pre-flighting the files, if you will. So anyway, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to take you to the DSI website. Is that coming through okay, everybody? You can see the DSI page? Great. Yeah. So this is our homepage. And we do offer a variety of services, which I'm not going to go through, but you could click on the menu button and see all the things that we offer, from digitization and framing and mounting, and whether it's a single print or an entire project. Kayla and I are happy to speak to you about that. So the quick link is to click right on our value print page right here, order value prints. And this is our value print page. And I'm going to talk about just two quick things here. If you are exporting from Lightroom, people often ask, what are my settings? So we've put this link in here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but please double check this. We give you Andrea's put together this great document that shows you how to export files for printing. The only thing I want to check in here is, so in this one file right here, where we say image format is TIFF, for our value print service, it has to be a JPEG, okay? And color space is Adobe 1998. But I just want to let you know that we do give a good tutorial on how to do it, but please export your files as JPEGs. The other thing I want to talk to you about our value print service quickly is basically, you can click on our price list to see it truly is a value. So we do offer our true silver gelatin black and white prints at the top, and but our photo pigment prints are really affordable. You can get 11 by 14 for a single print at $19, or on any of the fine art papers that we've talked about is $27. So when we talk about pigment photo papers, we're talking about either the Hahnemühle Photo Gloss or the Hahnemühle Photo Pearl. Those are really the only photo-based papers that we're talking about, but all of our matte papers and all of our semi-gloss fine art papers are all considered pigment fine art papers. So if you have questions on that, this is a good place to start if you have questions on pricing. If you order a second copy of the same file at the time of ordering, your price drops by 10%. So, if you're thinking about giving one to somebody, or framing one and giving one away, that's a good time to do it, because it'll save you 10%. So I want to start with on our value print page, talking a little bit about what Veronica talked about, which is our print sample promotion. And again, just to remind you, the print sample promotion, the idea behind that is you send us one file, and for the fine art inkjet papers, you get to pick 3 different papers you're choosing, and then we print your entire image full frame. We don't crop anything, so whatever fits on an 8.5 by 11 paper. That's
sorry, Eric, about the cropping, that was for the old system. The new, with this ordering system, you do need to have your file laid out at a 4 to 5 aspect ratio before uploading, or else it will be cropped.
Thank you, Kayla. So that is new. So just to clarify, you should export that file in Lightroom as an 8 by 10. Is that what you're saying, Kayla?
Yes, correct. And that's only for the print sample promotion or any prints that have finishing options. If you're ordering prints only, then it's different and you don't have to worry about that. But for the print sample promotion, you do need to have the file set up before bringing it in to avoid cropping.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll click on order now, and we're not going to go over the black and white one. We're just going to do the pigment. So you do have to also determine whether or not your image is vertical or horizontal. So I'm going to pick horizontal here. And this is where the information on the paper all is. So again, we have all of our papers listed here, right? But next to these, we also have these little pop-ups that talk to you about the paper. So if you're trying to remember about a paper, we do give you some information on the paper, what it's like, and we try to give you a photo that's from the Hahnemühle site on surface. So whether it's like the photorag metallic that Veronica was talking about, you can see this kind of pearlescent, beautiful looking surface of the metallic, or the agave is more of a matte paper. But we do give clear descriptions on our papers through this application with an image. And so what you would be doing from there is picking what I love to tell people is if this is your first time and you haven't done a lot of printing, my recommendation is pick one of the photo-based papers, either the Photo Gloss or the Photo Pearl. Photo Pearl is one of my favorites. In your second choice option, you might want to pick a matte paper. So like Veronica said, the Photo Rag matte is such a great paper, the 308. So maybe you say, okay, I'm going to pick that one. And in the third one, you want to pick one of the semi-gloss papers. So maybe you want to pick the Fine Art Baryta Satin. So I've picked 3 different papers. You can see them kind of with the boxes around them. And it says start creation. So again, this stuff is powered. We didn't write this software by a company called Dacus out of Canada. I had done some images before, so I'm going to say start fresh. I'm going to click on add photos. And I am going to, from my computer, I'm going to go down and I selected a folder. So I'm going to do this JPEG here. We work with a great photographer named Mike Mazzoul, who also prints a lot of his work on Hahnemühle papers. Image pops up over there, and I'm just going to hit process because I don't need to automatically place that. So it's going to come up in the screen. It's going to show me exactly what's in the window. The magnifying tool is only going to allow me to sort of see how the file looks. Please don't use this as a color calibrated kind of a thing. You could look this through to make sure that there isn't maybe sensor dust or something like that, but this is not intended as like working in Photoshop or Lightroom. So, but this is a key thing to do. If you want to add text, that's up to you. You could do that. But if you're sure that this is the image you want for your print sample promotion, you can just hit next. What it's going to do over here is it's just going to confirm the papers you chose, right? So my first paper choice was the Photo Pearl. And again, we still have the information here if you want to pop that up to confirm that you selected the one you want. So we have our descriptions here again, the Photo Rag, that's my matte paper. And then the Fine Art Baryta Satin, which is my semi-gloss warm tone fine art paper. So I can hit add to cart. Do I want to create another print sample promotion? Well, since our policy is you can only do one print sample promotion, we can't turn this off. So unfortunately, you can only create one. If you try to create 2, Kayla will call you and say, nice try. We can only do 1. So add to cart. And then our checkout procedure is pretty straightforward after this, right? So, and of course, there's 2 in here, sorry, because I was testing this before we all went online. So I'm just going to hit remove, and I'm down to my 1 paper sample. And then checkout is kind of like other checkouts. Whether you're a local person or whether you're shipping, you would just fill in this information and how you want it shipped. And that's pretty much how to work in our print sample promotion. Kayla, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so, not for PSPs.
I just wanted to add that we also have had some people that have been asking about our real silver gelatin prints. And we also have a print sample promotion for that, correct, Eric?
Yep. So you can definitely go through that on here. Sorry, this is not where I wanted to go. Hold on one sec. Yep. So if you go back to the print sample, if you're on the print sample promotion page, we do offer one, and these are our true black and white silver gelatin papers. So these are exposed with a LexJet, processed in liquid chemicals. And again, you get to pre-size it to 8x10, and we will print out one on the fiber-based gloss and the resin-coated pearl paper. So you can get our true black and white print sample promotion as well. And again, this is just a great way to see your file on both papers. But if you haven't, if you weren't a darkroom junkie like the four of us on this call, all four of us have spent time in darkrooms. And you
believe
are
it or
like,
not, even my young face also take the time in the dark room. So,
so I have a question that maybe Kayla can answer here too, which is, what if you're shooting in square format and you want to do a print sample promotion? How should you size that square format image? So, if it's an 8x10, should it be 8x8? What should it be?
It's really personal preference, and also depends on, I would say, the proficiency with Photoshop that people have. So if somebody wants to be able to see their whole image at 8x8, then they would just need to set that canvas up still at 8x10. Otherwise, if you don't mind it being cropped, you can actually crop it within the DACUS value print software to that 8x10 layout in that screen that you saw Eric laying out his print on. So that's also fine if you don't mind cropping it to 8x10.
Another thing, if you're good in Photoshop and you're just using the print sample promotion to evaluate a process or a paper, you could always use that additional, whatever it is, 2 inches to put in a sample of something else, like a strip of something else, just maybe an enlarged strip of that 8x8. You could blow that 8x8 to 20 by 20, and then take a little 2-inch by 8-inch strip out of it, or 10-inch strip out of it, or whatever, and just paste that in there right next to your 8x8.
That's a great creative idea.
I hadn't thought about that. So again, our true black and white process is unique to something we do. So if you're wondering, when you're at a gallery, museum, and you see silver gelatin print, that's what this is. This is a light sensitive black and white paper made by Ilford, photochemically processed in black and white chemistry. So there's also information about that on our website as well. So the next thing I want to show you is, where is that? Oh, I'm trying to go back. So we also, if you've already, one other thing I want to tell you about our print sample promotion that we do. So the print sample promotion is $36, whether it's inkjet or black and white, plus whatever shipping cost you choose. Most people choose priority mail. Some people choose first class shipping. But regardless of how you do that, we also offer you a $25 back on your next print order. So that you've gotten your print sample promotion and you say, oh, I really like, the Hahnemühle Photo Rag 308, or I love the metallic. Place an order with us, and as long as that order exceeds $75, you're going to get $25 off. So that's a nice little promotion that we offer once you've done the print sample promotion. And on the print sample promotion, I should say, yes, we only allow one, but if you want to do one black and white and one color, we do allow that. Okay. So on our prints only application, which is this one here, does function a little differently than how the print sample promotion app works. So I'm going to just launch that. And so I had preloaded these in. Let's see if this will let me do this. Sorry. Yeah, they're going to stay in here. Let me see, how can I clear all these out? I didn't do that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to clear all these out. Do you know I can clear all these out, Kayla, by any chance? Maybe if I select them all, I'm just trying this. Nope. Sorry.
Sorry, I was muted, but I've never tried to do that.
Delete. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. So start all over so we can show you what this looks like. So if you're here on our prints only application and you click order now, it's going to ask me to drag and drop those files. So I'm going to click from my computer. I have this folder with these 4 photos in them by Mike Mazul. I'm going to highlight all of them. So I have 5 in there. They're going to load into this window and I'm going to select upload 5 files. So they're all going to come into our application. And again, they're all JPEGs. I just want to remind you, no PSDs, no TIFFs, no PNGs. They really should be JPEGs. So now I have all these lovely images by Mike up here. And I can do one of 2 things. If I want to order all the same size, that's pretty easy. I can do, that didn't work, sorry. I jumped out too fast, sorry. I can select all of them and do it, or like it was doing, I can go in it one at a time and do an order. So I realized that when I size these, this file is a very small file. This error message that I'm getting right here is telling me that the file is too small for the size I'm picking. And I'm sorry that it's showing too small for all of these, and that's because I did too small a resolution. But you will get a warning if you are doing something too small. So by default, our application starts with our black and white prints on resin coated paper. So if you are submitting a color file and you select black and white prints on resin coated paper, you are not going to get back a color print. And unfortunately, we've had a couple people do that. So be very clear that this, where it says black and white print, it means even though your image is color, it will come back as a black and white print. And whether you pick that on our fiberglass or resin coated, that's what's going to happen. So when we get over to our other papers, this is where you can select the sizes. Our pricing is right here. And again, ignore the little emergency yield sign over here. But if I click 1, it comes up at $19. Here's something that's I really like about this, the way this app now works, is that you can see this border box around the image has cropped the image, because what I uploaded was a 35mm aspect ratio file, and it is not proportional to an 11:14 print. This is something really critical that I really appreciate about this app, that unfortunately doesn't work in the print sample app. It does work in the prints only app, but you get to see exactly what your print is going to look like. So keep that in mind. 35mm aspect ratio files are what we call a 2:3 aspect ratio for the most part. So if I want to get more of the rainbow, I can slide this back and forth, and that will show where the image is going to get cropped in printing. But if I say, oh, I forgot that this is 35mm, you kind of have to know what some of the print sizes are for 2:3 aspect ratio. So if I switch over here to 10:15, right, and I say 1, look at that. It's proportional because that's a 2:3 aspect ratio for 35mm print. If I say, oh, I really want to see what this looks like as a square print, and I go to square, you may want to print it that way because you think that's really cool. If I slide this over and say, oh, that's kind of cool as a square image, I'm going to do that. That's your choice, but it's really important to know that everybody's common print size is, oh, we all think of 8:10, but when we do 8:10, it will crop your print. You will lose an inch off of the 2 sides unless you move this crop mark, okay? And I think that's really important to remember. The aspect ratios are really key.
And on the point,
yeah.
The alternative is to click that shrink to fit button, which will format the image as a full frame image on the print size that you selected. So now that image is 10 inches wide by whatever tall that's less than 8. So if you want to make sure that the whole image gets printed on whatever paper size that you selected, if for whatever reason, then that's what the button for it.
But when we trim this out and ship it to you, we are going to print it out. We're going to trim it as an 8x10 print. So you will still get the top and bottom border. Okay. So just keep that in mind as well. So if I click done, it's literally just, it's going to confirm right here on the image. I've picked one 8x10, one 8x8, and one 10x15 on the Hahnemühle Photo Pearl.
So Eric, I have
Yeah.
a question.
Yeah.
What if I want to get my image framed, or I want to have it come with print hangers or one of those other options? Can I do that all from the app?
Cannot do that. No, what you'd have to do is go back to the other page and do that. So you cannot add. So the photo only app is designed to order prints only. Okay.
So it's kind of helps you streamline the process. Like if you're printing multiple images and you just want to get the print order done,
Yep.
and get you the prints out, that's a better way to go about using the online app, as opposed to going through and ordering the printing and framing version, correct?
Yep, correct. So I just want to show, like, again, here, like on the photo rag Barita paper, if I wanted to order, one 8.5x11 of this one, and on the photo rag, but I also want to do, the metallic, say I want to do a 10x15 on photo metallic, I can do that. And when I hit done, again, what I love about this app is it reminds you exactly what you ordered. I ordered a photo, it's going to go back and remind me exactly what I've ordered. Okay. And again, the checkout process is going to be the same. Okay. So I'm going to do a select all and delete so we can start all over. Does anybody have any questions? Is any questions popped up about the printing tool at all at this point? No?
Not specifically about the printing app, no.
Okay. So if I'm back here, so Andrea was asking about our sort of printing and finishing options. So the reason these are separate is not our choice. Be honest. I do love this. I do love the folks at Dacus. They've done the prints only app is good, and their mounting and framing, they use a slightly different tool to be able to add all those other options. So that is why they have to be done separately. Okay. So let's go into our inkjet or G-clay, which is a tricky French word for inkjet prints. So let's say I want to do something with mounting or framing options. So again, we have different options. You can do it with our print hangers, which are kind of a cool, inexpensive solution for hanging prints up without having to sort of pay for mounting and matting. We have different just mounting only options. We offer framing with a mat, the traditional kind of white mat, or we offer our inkjet prints with frame and spacers. And this is a solution where you literally, you can either set your image up to have a white border or not, but the print goes into a frame with spacers that fit underneath the little lip of the frame so that the print itself is not touching the acrylic. And we've also added some basic tutorials and questions. We have some videos here that kind of talk about what these different things are that we offer. So if you wanted to find out more about them, you can go and click there. So if we want to do like a print with a frame option, what is here is it's showing you all the different frame sizes that we offer, from 5x5 up to 30x40. If your print is larger than that, you can contact Kayla, and because we do offer custom sizes. And the same thing here, if there is not a size here, probably more of our custom printing, you could talk to Kayla about that. So I want something a little bit larger, so I can either click over here, or if I know that I want to do a 12x18 print, I can just click here. All right, it's going to bring up this option. And again, we offer a vertical or a horizontal format, so it's good to know which way you're going with that. I'm going to click on that. And again, here are paper choices. So we have all the different ones. And I think, with some of Mike Mazul's images, I frankly, that could be a good one for the metallic. but in this case, I'm going to do the agave just because it's one of their new papers and I think it's a beautiful paper. Under the wood profiles, we have different options. And so what we describe here, so when you know what you're getting, it's a 12 by 18 inch print with an 18 inch by 24 inch frame. So that means that your image is going to be, the border of the mat is going to be 3 inches all around. We fit, that's a good proportion. If you want something different, we can do it, but it's custom. So just contact Kayla on that. So we offer a black wood frame. Again, we have a little click on button here so you can kind of get a sense of what that wood profile looks like. White, same thing if you want to see it, same kind of concept. And then we also offer the standard Nielsen black metal frame, which is a matte black frame. So once I select my paper and I said, I'm gonna, I like black wood frames, I'm going to do the same thing, start creation. It's going to bring up my, I'm going to say just for the purpose of timing, I want to reuse this image. So I'm going to pull up that car and it's there. I literally am not going to add any text and I'm going to just click on next. Hold on. Sorry.
So there's also normally, sometimes this doesn't happen if the window is minimized at all, but on this screen, there's also typically along the top, like some other options like zoom, and there's like an arrow thing so you can drag the image around within the frame. So I don't know if Eric, you have the window like not full screen or what, but just so people know, there are normally a couple of other controls on there if you have the window full screen. That'll give you a little bit more control.
There they are. So I just simply had to drag that if people saw what I did. So I dragged the image from here into the center so that I could actually then see make sure I've got the right image. And on next, again, it's going to confirm my order that I have the agave paper and my black wood frame, and then checkout again is very similar. Do I want to do another one? So if I had another print and frame I wanted to do, I could do this, but I'm right now just going to do one. And it's going to take me to the cart, and you can hit checkout. If you have a promo code, you can enter that there. We are offering a promo code for the month. Is that working in this, right? I think now this may not work for me because I've already, let me see if this is going to work. So photo month. Yeah, I've already used the code a couple times, so that's why. But we are offering, if you have an order with us this month, and since May is National Photo Month, if you use the promotion code Photo Month, you are going to get how much, Kayla? 15%?
It's 15%, and I don't think that there should be a cap on the number of usages.
Okay.
But we'll figure that out. It's 15% off, and it goes. That runs.
I think it's because it's on prints only.
Yes, that's
not
why.
Prints and frames.
Only, not with frames. Yep, that's why.
Yeah.
So that is the basis of kind of how you use our application. As we said, we do have tutorials. If for some reason you end up at this page, we're working on getting this redesigned. But if you're looking what they call photo products, and you click on that, that will take you to our page where we talk about all of our photo products. But this is actually right off the DSI digital silver imaging page. So I'm going to stop screen sharing and come back to everybody. It looks like there were some questions in there, and Kayla, you've answered some. So right now, oh good, and you put the promo code in there for our prints only. Are there other questions at the moment where Veronica has a question? Question from the panelist.
That is, if I can unmute myself.
Yeah.
It's not so much a question, it's an observation.
Yep.
For whatever reason, people are not interested or comfortable with printing, or they may have a size limitation, 13 by 19 or 17 by 22. What you provide, basically from input to print to even framing, is really makes it easy for people to do printing or to make prints. And you know, last year when Kevin and I were doing some of these presentations, of course, we're talking about the value of printing and creative applications. But I think as we were separated from family and friends, prints became more important to us. And I think people were giving prints as gifts. They were going through their archive and looking at old images and printing them to either put up on their walls or give as gifts. So I'll say it again, because I'm such an advocate for printing and for fine art prints, that there really is no reason that you can't print your own work. And once again, the relationship aspect is important to me, and you have great resources at DSI. And I say that regardless of the fact that they're friends, they are extreme professionals. They are very serious about the work they create for people. So that was just my 2 cents.
Yeah, thank you, Veronica.
Yeah, I am proud of everybody that is here, because everyone that is here, part of the DSI team, if you like to say, everybody has studied photography in school. Everybody who works here at some point or another has had to make a print and hang it on a wall. So I really think what you're getting are people with critical eyes, people who think, if this were my print, you know, if there's something wrong with it, I'm going to reject it, send it back to the printer, or let Kayla know. So I think you've got, you know, great printers, really knowledgeable people, a friendly voice on the other end of the line, especially with Kayla. And but you also have people who care about the end product. And it's, you know, so you get knowledge and care. And I think, you know, we try to answer your questions and needs. And you know, if you're really stumped on a paper to use, you know, Kayla or I are going to be there to sort of say, well, tell me what it is. It's a landscape, you know, a nighttime, you know, what's the end result? You know, we believe me, we want you to be happy in the end, because, you know, if you're happy and you're like thrilled all of a sudden, if you haven't printed before and you start putting pictures up on the wall, you know, you're going to have a totally different experience than staring at them on your monitor or on your phone. You know, it's really quite a thing to have things hanging up on your wall. So, so whether you print with us or whether you buy your own home printer and start using Hahnemühle papers for yourself, you know, and maybe your home printer has a limitation. Maybe you only have a 13 by 19 printer and someday you want to make a 20 by 30. Give us a call. You know, what we're advocating here is printing, but we're also, you know, certainly we want you to print with us. But we're also advocating printing, because we think it's such an important part of our process.
Hey, so I just want to interject here that I ran a random number generator, and we have a winner for our raffle, and it's Mark Burnt. So Mark, I sent you a message in the chat, so you might want to look at that. But if you want to, yeah, there you go, Mark. If you respond to my direct message in the chat with your email, we'll get in touch with you and tell you how to get your 13 by 19. Also, we had a comment that said, so basically Kayla is the boss.
That's great.
So, okay. Yeah. All right. Yes.
Yep.
And we had someone else in the chat asked, did we do what Kayla says? So someone else asked about frames and wood frames. So do you want to clarify about frames through our value print service? And maybe we should clarify a little bit about the difference between value print and custom printing through us.
Yeah, I can talk about that if that's good. So on the framing question, we have solid wood frames that are custom order only, and we also have value frames that come in wood and metal. And you can see the differences on our website. There's a framing section, and there's different pages for each one of those. So the short answer is yes, the wood frames are custom order, but the value frames that are wood can be ordered through the value print site like Eric was showing. And the main differences, I mean, I think Eric touched on this a little bit earlier, the differences between custom and value, and like the reasons why value prints can be a little bit less expensive. And it's really about, it has mostly to do with the front side of things. So like the ordering process and setting up the files and everything that basically comes before the actual printing is it's shortened with the value prints. So you'll just upload your images like you saw and pay right in there, and we'll print exactly what you put in, and that's kind of it. With custom ordering, you have a lot more size options. You have the chance to talk about your work. It's just a lot more individualized. If you want us to have eyes on it at all before printing, it'll come to me first, and I'll check it over for anything like glaring, make sure that the sizing is all correct and everything like that, ask you any questions. So it's much more of a discussion. And then also and then this is
Your assistant showed up right on time.
Right on cue. Anyway, and then on the printing side with custom ordering, there's also the opportunity for Christopher, our printer, to make adjustments before printing, and it's just a lot more customizable to go through custom. So it's just a wide range of options there. And just to what Veronica was saying earlier, I just want to speak to this for a second about kind of accessibility. I personally really love that we have this value print service that makes things a little bit more accessible to, first of all, like photographers who don't feel like they need all of that customization or whatever and just want to like run their stuff off, but also people who might not be as entrenched in the photography world and might be more intimidated by some of the custom stuff. And you know, I have people all the time who say like, you know, I'm just an amateur, I'm not like one of those big names that you all work with all the time. And like, yes, we do work with those big names and everything, but we work with like the whole range, you know, so come work with us. We're approachable.